Welcome to Discovery! Roll the intro, please.
Hordes of fallen masters, echoes in the deep. Chaos, blood and fury, destruction unleashed. Fire back, no mercy, oblivion awaits. Discovery 2325 awaits.
We've officially ushered in a new era for Discovery with a 24/7 streaming channel fully dedicated to the series. This is something I've always wanted to do, a space where you can explore albums anytime, especially if you've missed the regular episodes. And right now you're watching the premiere episode of Discovery on Discovery TV. This episode will also be uploaded to my main channel in a few hours, so don't worry if you're joining late. In today's episode, we're diving into the final wave of April releases and spotlighting some of the brand new albums that have just dropped in the first week of May. So grab your popcorn, get comfortable and enjoy the ride. Let me know what albums you've discovered. Drop your thoughts live in the chat during this broadcast or leave a comment once this episode hits YouTube. Let's begin. First up on Discovery, we're heading over to Norway where Felgrave had just unleashed their sophomore album, Otherlike Darknesses. Released April 25th through Transcending Obscurity Records. Take a listen. And let me tell you, this album completely blew me away. Dare I say it, this might be the heaviest album of the year so far, with just 3 tracks, each over 10 minutes and 2 of them pushing past 15 minutes. This is an absolute epic in every sense of the word. Otherlike Darknesses is a chaotic but masterful fusion of black metal, death metal, doom metal, and progressive extremity. It's technical, it's crushing, and honestly at times it feels like a mountain collapsing on top of you. Now the blast beats are ferocious, the tremolo picking is relentless, and the crushing guitar riffs feel like they could swallow your soul whole. Now the production is raw but powerful, the guitar tone is dirty and grime soaked, fitting the horror-drenched atmosphere perfectly. There's a lot of dissonance throughout, unexpected melodic flourishes, batshit crazy moments, and even sections of unsettling softness that make the heavy parts hit even harder. What's wild about this album? What is wild about this album? How many influences Felgrave weave in. You'll hear shades of brutal Norwegian black metal, echoes of Swallow the Sun's melancholy, and even King Crimson style progressive oddities. On Pale Flowers Under the Empty Sky, you get cleaner guitars and a dreamy progressive edge, the softest moment on the album. But even here, they unleash titanic wars of sound that are absolutely overwhelming. The drumming across the album is spectacular. Technical when it needs, primal when it matters most, and the vocals are vicious, snarling rasp blended with surprisingly strong, clean singing on this, throwing even more layers into the chaos. Wind's Battle My Keeper is a monstrous 18-minute dissonant odyssey, a labyrinth of progressive flair, dual-layered guitar attacks, slow-burning atmospheric sections, and moments that remind me of Ulcerate with the soul-suffocating layering. Then you get the title track Otherlike Darknesses, another sprawling 18-minute nightmare. It's nightmare fuel from start to finish, technical, dissonant, melodic and punishing. The blast beats feel like artillery fire. The guitar solos soar and clash in the mix, and the horror-filled atmosphere is simply relentless. The final few minutes are pure devastation. Guitar lines spiral into madness while the vocals tear through everything in their path. Overall, Felgrave's new album is absolutely awesome. It's heavy, it's dark, it's ambitious, and it throws multiple extreme genres into the blender to create something truly unique. I'm scoring Otherlike Darkness as a strong 85%. Honestly, if I had one tiny criticism, it's that I would have loved just one more song to round out the experience. It feels like there's a final chapter missing, but even so, at around 50 minutes, it's an intense and unforgettable listen. I'm generally excited to see where Felgrave go next. You can check Otherlike Darkness out now on Bandcamp and all streaming platforms. So, just give it a listen. We're heading over to Italy now, where the Thrashers Game Over had just dropped the new album Face the End, released April 25th through Scarlet Records. This is a fun high-octane thrash album from start to finish. While it might not reinvent the genre or blow anyone away with groundbreaking songwriting, it absolutely delivers where it counts: energy, riff-driven chaos, and guitar work that absolutely rips. There's a definite old-school thrash feel here, and you can definitely hear nods to the early days of Metallica, Megadeth, and even Testament, especially in the pacing and riff structure. Songs like Neck for Blood and Neck-Breaking Dance are guaranteed headbangers full of blazing speed, tight rhythm sections, and catchy, punchy vocals. Velvet's Sanity and Grip of Time brings the shredding solos with plenty of technical flair and fast fretwork to keep your adrenaline up.
You will fall.
These are the kinds of tracks that don't ask much, just crank the volume and go wild, but the standout for me has to be Crimson Waves. It slows things down, bringing a more melodic and melancholic atmosphere, and it really shows a different side of the band. This track leans into a more emotional, introspective sound while still holding onto the band's thrashy core. It reminded me a lot of early Metallica ballads, think of Fade to Black or even Welcome Home Sanitarium. Easily the strongest moment on the album. Then there's Weaving Fate, which closes things out on a high note, fast, aggressive, and sharp. It ties the record together nicely, bringing back the energy for one final punch before the lights go out. Now, while the guitar work is consistently excellent, the songwriting overall feels a bit safe. Most of the tracks follow a familiar structure, and while they're fun, they don't necessarily leave a lasting impression. That said, the album does have a replayable charm, and a few of the songs might grow on you after a couple of spins. In the end, Face the End is a solid thrash record, nothing revolutionary, but if you're in the mood for some fast, energetic, no frills metal, it delivers. I'm giving this one a 65%. Check it out now on Bandcamp and all major streaming services.
Caught in a war zone, and there is no
Now we head over to Germany, where a band called Aeonyzhar has released their debut album, The Profane Era, on April 25th through Apostasy Records. Take a listen. Now this is a good first effort and energetic and ambitious record that blends orchestral grandeur with the aggression of blackened death metal. While there are black metal elements here and there, I'd definitely say this album leans more towards like that technical death metal, especially given the dominant growls throughout, intricate riffing and rapid fire drumming throughout. Now Aeonyzhar reminds me of a lot of like early Flesh God Apocalypse, but with a slightly more restrained and blackened edge. They channel that same grand symphonic scale, but keeps the orchestral elements more in the background, low in the mix, rising only when needed to heighten the atmosphere. Now it's a smart choice as it prevents the record from feeling overly bombastic and even cheesy. Now there are a few strong tracks worth highlighting. I Spit in the Face of Forgiveness is surprisingly catchy with tight grooves and memorable vocal patterns. The title track, The Profane Era, showcases the band's technical edge, filled with heavy passages and fast-paced intensity. Ignore the siren, by the way. Ulysses is a strong cut to intense and borderline chaotic, straddling the line between black and death metal with precision. The album wraps up with Non Serviam, a song that surges with massive melodic swells and a sense of finality. Probably the most cinematic track here. That said, while the musicianship is strong and the production is crisp, the songwriting can feel a little lackluster at times. The album doesn't always stick with you after it ends. Some of the tracks tend to blend together and it lacks a real standout moment that elevates it to the next stage. For a debut, it's fun, energetic, and promising. If you're into symphonic death metal with a touch of blackened aggression and technical flair, there's definitely something here for you. I'm scoring The Profane Era a 65%. It's not the most memorable album of the year, but it's a solid foundation and shows potential for something even greater next time around. Check it out on Bandcamp on all major streaming services. God damn it, the air raid siren in town just goes on and on and on. But we'll continue discovery. Now we head over to Greece, where one of the legendary names in Hellenic black metal, Nightfall, has returned with the 11th studio album Children of Eve, released May 2nd through Season of Mist. Take a listen. Silence. This album is a fun, fiery, and energetic ride. It blends black and death metal, melodic black metal, and hints of classic heavy metal grooves, all wrapped in a solid production that really brings out the grit and power of the band's sound. The guitar work is consistently fantastic, with searing leads, great hooks, and riffs that range from epic to downright savage. That said, the songwriting can feel a bit simplistic at times. It doesn't always push boundaries, but it still delivers where it matters. Now, the album kicks off strong with songs like I Hate, a track that adds a blackened flair with groovy chugging riffs. The addition of female vocals creates a really cool contrast with the monstrous blackened growls. It's got that classic Hellenic black metal feel, the classic Hellenic black metal melodies, and it's a brilliant way to set the tone. Next up is The Cannibal, which ramps up the intensity. The guitar melodies in the chorus are super catchy. And the whole song has this old school melodic death metal edge, even dipping into some monomath style with heaviness with a slick, expressive guitar solo and those whiny, screaming leads. Got songs like Lurking keeps the momentum going with relentless drumming and great melodic layering. It leans more into that black and death, but it still has an accessible melodic edge. Then you've got songs like Inside My Head, which is an absolute headbanger, while Seeking Revenge slows things slightly for a more melancholic approach. The addition of background choirs really make it feel grand and epic, a highlight for atmosphere and emotional weight. Songs like For the Expelled Ones goes full black and death again, with vicious screams, low growls, and ferocious pacing. It doesn't reinvent the genre, but it's heavy and satisfying. A true standout for me is Outlandish Desire to Disobey, I think it's called, Disobey. It opens with haunting female vocals over a slow melancholic progression, then halfway through it fucking explodes into the album's heaviest sections, blast beats, manic shrieks, and dark, dense riffing that feels like a storm overtaking the calm. That switch is amazing. It's a brilliant example of how contrast and dynamic the songwriting is. Now the closer, Christian Svengali, ties everything together with chugging riffs, melancholic keyboard touches, and powerful drumming. It ends the album on a strong reflective note while still bringing the heaviness. Overall, Children of Eve is a really enjoyable album. While some of the songwriting lacks the creativity of Nightfall's earlier classics, there are plenty of hooks, memorable moments, and strong performances throughout. It doesn't reinvent the genre, but it absolutely reinforces why Nightfall remains legends in the Hellenic scene alongside bands like Rotting Christ. I'm scoring Children of Eve a 75%. Definitely check it out on Bandcamp and all streaming services. It's a fun, well-crafted black and death metal record with that unmistakable Greek flair. Next up on Discovery it's something a little different, but absolutely worth your time. We're heading into the world of progressive rock with Cosmic Cathedral, who released their debut album Deep Water on April 25th through Inside Out Music. Take a listen.
Time to find.
Now, if you didn't already know, yes, this is another Neil Morse project, and no, it's not metal, but more of a classic retro-styled prog rock album that's packed with heart, soul, and serious musicianship. Honestly, I enjoyed every moment of it. This is one of those albums where you just sit back, close your eyes, and let the music take you on a journey. The lineup is stacked, it really is. We got Chester Thompson, who was in Frank Zappa and Genesis, brings thunder and nuance on drums. Phil Keaggy of Glass Harp handles guitar duties. Byron House provides rich bass textures, and Neil Morse himself takes on vocals. And man, his vocal performance here is phenomenal. It doesn't feel like something released last week. It has that timeless 70s prog rock feel that still sounds fresh. Now, the production is clean, rich, and full. You can hear every note clearly, and the compositions are masterfully arranged. The album opens with Heart of Life, a jazzy, groovy 9-minute track that sets the emotional melodic tone perfectly. It's vibrant, textured, and Keaggy's guitar solo here are just chef's kiss. Chester's drumming is fluid, dynamic, and gives the song real character. Then there's Time to Fly, dribbling all over myself, which leans more mellow but features a saxophone solo that elevates it to another level. It's soulful, dreamy, and even features quiet elements. This track has so much personality. It's smooth, uplifting, and beautifully written. I Won't Make It brings things down emotionally. It's more of a ballad, but a powerful one. Morse delivers some of his most heartfelt vocals here, and the songwriting hits deep. But songs like Walking in Daylight is another gem, with a funky keyboard groove driving the rhythm. I believe Phil Keaggy takes lead vocals on this one. He absolutely fucking nails it. There's a memorable hook, and the guitar solo on this track is just mouth fucking watering, full feel and finesse. And then we've reached the crown jewel of the album, the 9-part suite Deep Water. This is where the band pulls out all the stops. It's got flashy instrumental sections, emotional vocal passages, catchy hooks, jamming prog detours, and some genuinely beautiful songwriting. The song evolves constantly, never overstaying its welcome or becoming predictable. It's exactly what you want from a prog epic, and it delivers. Overall, Deep Water is a brilliant debut by Cosmic Cathedral. These guys are veteran musicians, and it shows they know how to craft engaging, emotional music that respects the roots of prog while still sounding passionate and inspired. With that said, I'm scoring this one at 85%. My only minor gripes are that the album can feel a bit long, and yes, some moments, especially with the choir arrangements, can lean a bit into cheesy territory. But I digress. It's the charm for this genre, to be honest. Check it out on all streaming services if you're a fan of Morse's work, or you just love classic prog done right. This is one you don't want to miss. Next up on Discovery, we're heading over to Poland, where the veterans Hate have just unleashed their 13th studio album, Bellum Regiis. released May 2nd through Metal Blade Records. Take a listen. Now I have to say, this album really impressed me. It's still early in the month, but Bellum Regiis is already shaping up to be a contender for my favourite fucking album of May. Hate are often overlooked in the black and death scene. People always mention Behemoth, Necrophobic or Balfour, but fucking Hate deserves to be right up there with them. Their consistency is unreal, and this album is no exception. It's heavy, unapologetic, and full of that razor-sharp, war-torn intensity they're known for. From the very start, with the self-titled track Bellum Regiis, you're immediately thrown into a frenzy of blast beats, ferocious tremolo picking, guttural growls from ADF Sinner, who is absolutely on fire vocally. His delivery is monstrous on this album, commanding, aggressive, and just dripping with venom. The track sets the tone perfectly with its ritualistic vibe and melodic undercurrent that carries through the rest of the record. Then you got songs like Iphigenia, follows, and it's a bit of a curveball inspired by Greek mythology. Musically, it leans into the doomier chugs, Eastern guitar motives, and even features female vocals, adding a haunting, melancholic layer to the brutality. It's a killer track that adds depth to the record. Then you've got the song The Vanguard, which is an absolute rager, melodic hooks, a driving rhythm section, and a chorus that feels like a blackened battle hymn. The guitar work is frantic, layered, and precise. It's that kind of song you can imagine stomping through fire and ash too. Then you got songs like A Ghost of Lost Delight is another brilliant one. It's a bit more atmospheric with a slower build and dissonant passages and give way to intense blast sections. It reminded me a bit of Balfour in its mood, dark, haunting, and theatrical, but still technical and savage movement. The instrumental Rite of Triglav is tribal and cinematic like a war drum ritual, and it sets up for Perrin's Rising, which is another great song that builds up to Alpha Inferior Goddess of War perfectly. That track is an all-out assault with some of the most intense drumming on the record and soaring melodic riffs. It's an anthem of chaos. Prophet of Aachen keeps the intensity fucking going with blackened grooves and heavy riff layering, and then we get the ageless harp of Devilry to close out the album. This song is sinister, slow burning in places, and absolutely devastating in others. It ends the record on a heavy shadow-drenched note. Now, in terms of criticism, some tracks do blend a little in terms of pacing and structure, and I would have liked a bit more variety to break things up a touch, but that's just nitpicking. What this album does, it does incredibly well. The production is sharp, the guitar tone is cold and gritty, and the blackened atmosphere is thick throughout. Overall, Bellum Regiis is a terrific black and death metal record. It's got power, precision, and a dark edge that makes it stand out. I'm scoring this one an 85%, and I already know it's going to grow on me more with each fucking listen. Check it out on Bandcamp and all streaming services. Hate have once again proven why they're one of the most underrated fucking names in the blackened death metal genre. Next up on Discovery, we're heading over to Portsmouth, UK, where the band Acres just released a new album, The Host, out May 2nd through Tooth and Nail Records. Take a listen. Okay, I'm just going to be honest here, this was pretty underwhelming. I really didn't know what Acres were trying to be with this one. The whole album feels like a band going through an identity crisis. Are you alt rock? Are you metalcore? Are you pop with the synth drops? Pick a lane, fuckers. The album only runs around 23 minutes, and honestly, it doesn't leave much of an impression. The production is okay, the drums sound way too compressed, and the mix feels sterile. There are a lot of pop and electronic elements thrown in, and while I don't mind experimentation, it just feels out of place here, especially when one song feels like synthwave emo, and the next wants to be full-blown fucking metalcore blowing your fucking head off. It opens with the song Bloodlust, which is just fine. It's ambient, electronic heavy, but it never really goes anywhere. Built to Bleed is probably the best track. Harsh vocals, crushing riffs, and actually feels like the band came alive for once. It's heavy and aggressive, and honestly, if the whole album sounded like this, I'd be giving it a much higher score. Then there's songs like Yours Goodbye, which dives into full-on emo sad boy territory, and yeah, it's pretty cheesy. The vocals aren't bad, but they come off a bit whiny. The whole thing feels like a track cut from like 2006. Still, the light tries to be textured and moody, even bordering on like R&B territory, but never really connects. It's like two ideas stapled together, and then the final track, Around Again, was honestly forgettable. I couldn't even tell you what happened in that song because I just turned it off. Now, the vocals throughout the record aren't terrible. There's talent there, don't get me wrong, but it's all just buried under confused songwriting and genre blending that doesn't quite land. Some of the choruses are pretty catchy, I have to admit, but even then it all feels a bit empty. Overall, the host left me disappointed. There's clearly some ambition behind this album, but the execution just didn't work. The direction is unclear, the production doesn't elevate the material, and most of the songs don't leave any lasting impact. I'm scoring this one a 40%. This album can get in the bin. If you're a fan of Acres, maybe you'll get more out of it, but for me it just didn't hit. Check it out on Bandcamp or streaming platforms if you're curious, but I do not fucking recommend it. And now, our main event for this week's discovery is none other than my favorite modern black metal band, Firienholt, and their new album, Night Eternal, released May 2nd through Nutter Marked Production. If you followed my channel for a while, you've known I've been a massive fan of Firienholt since their debut by the Waters of Awakening, followed by White Frost and Elder Blood. So, when I heard they were releasing Night Eternal, I was like a kid in a candy store. I couldn't wait to dive in, and holy shit, I got the album. To be honest, I almost didn't want to review this, not because it's bad, but because I wanted to keep it to myself, to savor it. But I need to spread the word about this album to my people that are watching it on Discovery TV. Firienholt has delivered yet another amazing album filled with epic black metal, dungeon synth, and their signature melodies. Now, here's the but. I don't think this album is as strong as their previous works, to be honest. To me, it's their weakest album, but only by a hair-dick fraction. The vocal styles have changed. They're more grunty. If that's even a word, I don't mind them, but I preferred the older vocal style. Of course, the clean vocals are as great as always, sprinkled throughout the album with those fantastic melodies that only Firienholt can deliver. This album's amazing, have a look. Now, this band remains anonymous, and they keep it that way, but I think this album will bring them more recognition. It's more accessible, and it's even available on streaming services now. They experiment on this album, and it sounds different from their previous releases. Sure, some songs stroll back to the older sound, but then you have bangers like Black Wings in Sumerian Skies. Black Wings, oh, so good. Which has a more melodic black metal edge with a hint of death metal mixed with those incredible fucking melodies. It's incredibly catchy. It gets stuck in your head. Black Wings in Sumerian Skies. So good.
And from the darkest night, unholy into life, will man make a final stop?
Now the album kicks off with Land Beyond the Snow, showcasing the usual Firienholt melodies, amazing guitars, and new stylized blackened vocals and clean singing throughout. It's epic and grandiose. I love the use of the keyboards on this track. It's a great way to kick off the album. While this song isn't as memorable as others in their discography, it's still good. They got songs like The Veil of Haunted Shadow. It's slow and doomy, almost with like a gothic atmosphere, dare I say. Incredible songwriting on this one. I love the heavier sections and the synths that cascade throughout the song. Then you have a Realm Reborn in Fires of War. Some really long songs, which carries a Celtic-like melody throughout. It's heavy and hard-hitting at times. The synths crash throughout, and the drumming is really good. The clean vocals are incredible, calming the raging storms. Then you got songs like Black Wings and Sumerian Skies. As I mentioned before, it's the most memorable track. It's aggressive and hard-hitting, but still has that Firienholt touch. It's something I've never heard from Firienholt before. It's incredible. Then there's the epic Entombed in the Halls of Stone, a really good song. I love the transitions of the drums from calm to blast beats and the beautiful lead guitars. The up and down emotions and amazing synth melodies. It's a really good song running around 12 minutes filled with emotion. Overall, Night Eternal is another solid album from Firienholt. The more I listen to it, the more I'm starting to love it. At this stage, I'm giving it at the moment an 85%, but I know that score will grow higher throughout the year. It's one of my favorite albums of the year and could potentially be my album of the month once May ends. We'll see, only time will tell. But it's my most played album this week, and Firienholt isn't the band that you listen to once. You listen to them a fucking 100 times and get soaked with the melodies and the incredible songwriting. This is modern day summoning, in my opinion. Epic black metal at its finest. If you like bands like Khan, Bard, and Balor, you'll love this. Check it out now on Bandcamp. Fucking buy this CD, or just check it out on streaming services. It's so good. Yeah, Firienholt, Night Eternal. And you know what? This actually arrived on the day of my birthday, on Wednesday. So I got to listen to this album 2 days before it was released. But what an amazing birthday present this was. For to share the burden of all that's been and all that was lost. So yeah, that's it for Discovery for this week. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me know in the comments below, or let me know in the chat in the live Discovery TV, if you're watching this live on Discovery TV, what your favorite discoveries were and what albums you checked out. And let me know what albums I missed. It's been fun, and I'll see you in the next one.